Studio 110.live, man. I am so excited. I'm excited for all my shows. I'm excited for today's show, tomorrow's show. We got so much to talk about. We got so many things we're working on here behind the scenes. My team here at Studio 110. Looks like whether I know not everybody is in this state monitoring on the audio and visual side of the show, but it looks like the sun's trying to come out here and. Downtown Bellevue with a big show broadcast from here at Studio 110.live. If you're not following us right now on Instagram, like I said yesterday, Taya and Anthony and Joe and Erica and everybody here in the studio, what are you waiting for? Get on your Instagram and start following us right now at Studio 110.live. Now, Erica, my producer, working so hard here, making so many things happen. She knows that. I hear her coming in the morning, and she sits in her office down the hall, and she can read my mind. Like, if I need to look over a proposal or listen to some audio clips, she's got it ready to go. So I appreciate once again, Erica, all your hard work. I know we got another big show today. I'm going to let you talk about some of the guests coming up today and everything that you're working on. But I want to kick off the show. I don't get an opportunity to do this every day, and I'm all about sharing music news stories. So I'm gonna put you to the test, Erica.
All right, let's do this.
Let's see. Hopefully you can't see my computer here, and hopefully
kind of is.
All right. Well, just hopefully you can't. No,
I can't see like the actual.
Okay, good. So which hip hop artist just dropped $120,000 on a diamond ring? So if you had to take one guess, which artist do you think that is?
I would probably say. That's difficult. Migos?
Good guess. Very good guess. I mean, if I was listening and I was in my car or at work, I probably think Migos or maybe Cardi B.
Yeah, I was thinking Cardi B, but then I was like, no, I don't think again.
So my guy, Big Sean, knows how to treat himself. He says he recently celebrated his 30th birthday party by throwing down stacks on some new finger candy. So according to a report, Sean spent a solid $120,000 on a must-see customized ring form made in New York City. So this is what TMZ is reporting. Just came out. The centerpiece is a stunning 4-carat Colombian emerald that's surrounded by 15 carats worth of VS diamonds. Now, as a young lady, I honestly don't know what VS stands for. Do you know? It's some probably clarity thing, right? That talks about like the overall
quality of the diamond.
Quality of the diamonds.
Yeah.
So it's something VS diamonds. We need to get a jeweler to talk about that. The total cost is 120 grand, or basically a new G-Wagon, right? On his finger. We're told the ring was made in New York, but it was delivered to Sean in LA before his birthday. So if you were delivering a ring on an airplane, like if you had to go to the bathroom, like would you take that carry-on bag with you at all places? I mean, right? What do you do?
Absolutely.
I mean, you'd be kind of concerned, right? It's like 120 grand. It's like, probably not worried about the flight attendants, but I mean, I've never been on a plane before. We see people like, going through other people's bags.
Yeah.
But still, so it was delivered to Sean in Los Angeles before his birthday, which he celebrated over the weekend with Jay-Z, Beyonce, John Mayer, and of course, Janae. So that sounds like it's a pretty big birthday party. If Jay-Z is showing up to your birthday party and his wife Beyonce, because usually I would think, I mean, they've got babysitters, they've got a whole staff down there at the LA house, but to get Jay-Z and Beyonce, I mean, you got to be someone like Big Sean to get those types of figures out. And of course, shout out to John Mayer. So that's cool, man. I like stories like this because you know what? It's about treating yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
It's about treating yourself, and not everybody can treat themselves to $120,000. Yeah, I get that. Some of us will get like you. I mean, how do you treat yourself? Like when you want to go and reward yourself for all your hard work. Give me some ways that Erica, as you being the producer of the show, how do you treat yourself?
Okay, so you guys, this is hilarious, but I'm obsessed with Indian food. Like obsessed. Thanks to my little sister Miranda. Shout out. At UW right now. But I treat myself to the vegetable korma, which is like a $20 dish. Yeah, it's pretty expensive. It's delicious.
Do you argue with them? Do you ask them like, what makes this dish $20?
Nope.
You're just perfectly fine paying for it.
Because it is so literally I could have it for 3 meals. So it's kind of worth it.
That's kind of worth it because if you divide it up, that's like what, $7 a meal.
Yeah, so it's not bad. Yeah. And it's so good. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't help it.
Do you get the same thing on the menu every time?
Yes.
So when you either call there, are you on a first name basis?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
If you're on a first name basis with them, there's actually a restaurant that I've talked about several times.
Bamboo Garden.
Yep, there you go. See, guys? What did I just say? She knows me so well that she knows my favorite restaurant. We got to get the whole staff. We got to take the whole staff out, the whole Studio 110 staff here to Bamboo Garden. And you know what? If they don't like it, they'll still eat it. They'll still eat it. They got to open themselves to vegetarian Chinese. That's what it's about.
Yummy. That sounds delicious.
It's a Seattle staple. I've been going there since I was, 16 years old. So I've been going there for a long time. So going back to this Indian $20 meal that can last for 4 or 5 meals. They know you on a first name basis. They know that that's the only thing that you order. What are the chances of possibly down the road with your business savviness to maybe get them to bring in a meal on the show, and maybe this could be relabeled on the menu as the Studio 110 a meal that we recommend to their other patrons.
Oh my gosh! So I'm actually really good friends with the owner there now because I'm there I'm not there every day, but I'm there pretty consistently. So they're like, oh Erica, yeah, of course, like come pick it up. I mean, yesterday I didn't have it there, which was I had it from a different place. I'm very disappointed that I went to the other place.
And you sit in something, just like I can always tell if you're a little like, if you're just not, 100%. And now that makes me realize that you didn't go to your favorite place. So due to your favorite place not supplying you your lunch before the big show, I mean, that really is a true testament. Because you went somewhere else. We don't have to mention the other place, but you went somewhere else and didn't satisfy you like your favorite place. And that shows you the power of food. Like if there's a place that you constantly go to where you have a good atmosphere and just
good service.
Good service. The food is always on point.
Yep.
And you're going to go back.
Absolutely. People look at me like, really? You're Mexican and your favorite food is Indian? I'm like, yeah.
Hey, I mean, I love Russian food.
I do too.
I'm not Russian. I love borscht. I love pierogies. I love going down there by the Pike Place Market. There's pierogi, and I get the smoked salmon. I don't know if you've ever been down there or not. It's by the original Starbucks. And they have like they make like a fish that looks like a salmon, but then they put like their own real salmon cream cheese in it. It's delicious. It's probably the best snack you can get like on a random evening after work for happy hour or something like that. So
too bad I won't be trying that because I'm lactose.
Well, maybe they can maybe this thing's they have like vegetables and other dishes there. So yeah, we can find you something at pierogi. I like that name, pierogi. Yeah, there you go. So let's talk about, I mentioned earlier, and I mention this all the time, all the hard work that you're doing, and you're managing my social networking and talking to people, and you're in meetings here throughout the day. So just on our show's Instagram, let everybody know kind of, ultimately where we started at, even before, the show got launched, before I even put the microphone up for the first time and started hosting the show, let everybody know where we were at and where we're at now.
So obviously with everybody knows the social media, it's not something that you can just really push forward and it's already done. Like it takes time to build up that reputation. But because Dirty Harry already has such an amazing talent and wonderful reputation.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is the truth though. But because of that, it hasn't been that difficult to get all these followers. And we started out originally before even the show had all the equipment in the studio at about 22 followers.
22.
Because I mean, people knew who you were. They're like, oh, of course. Like yesterday, Anthony Hamilton was like, this is literally a dream. He's like, this is awesome. Like I grew up listening to him, and I get to be on air with him. Like he was so excited. That was really cool. But anyway, so we started out with 22, and then it just kind of honestly skyrocketed from there because once we started getting obviously some mix Marcus Trufant. We had Brienne Rice from The Bachelor. Like we had all these very iconic figures that were, they're obviously very good friends with Harris. Huey P. Yeah, that was another huge guy.
And your boy Zach, who's going to be coming in later. We'll be talking about that in a few minutes. But
shout out to Zach. But anyway, so we had all these people, and they're like, who is this guy? Like the people that didn't exactly know who you were, even though a lot of people do. But
because we have people outside of the state.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not expecting people outside of the state so much to know who I am.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So within the last 6 days, we've had about, I want to say probably like 700 extra followers who have just skyrocketed.
That's huge.
Yeah. So we're making sure that all of our content is exclusive and things are getting promoted, and we're working on a lot of big projects, guys. So definitely stay tuned because the show is going far.
Absolutely,
it's exciting.
And Erica, like I said, is my main show producer and my assistant, and then we've got a staff outside here that works with Erica on everything that Erica is doing. So I wish maybe down the road people will be able to come down here and get a tour of the studios and the headquarters. Because believe me, I mean, shout out to everyone else out there trying to do kind of your introductory live shows and your live podcasts and all that. This is definitely not introductory in any way, shape, or form. So we are definitely doing it here. Thank you for talking about that. Thank you again for all your hard work. And I'm sure next time I ask you where we're at, we'll definitely be surpassing that.
Oh, absolutely.
Shout out to you, Erica, for doing that. Let's talk about the show today. So actually, before we talk about the show today, let's give a couple shout outs. So yesterday we had pro MMA UFC fighter Anthony Hamilton, who by the way sent me a text earlier saying that he had just a great time on the show yesterday, and he wants to already come back.
That's great.
So Erica knows that when the guests leave here, they usually say they usually say three things. When can I come back? When can I talk to you guys about a sponsorship? And when can I host a party to have Dirty Harry and Erica put together the hosting side of it for me to host it and the TV angle of it. So that's usually what we hear, especially what you tell me when you escort the guests in and out. And that's a guy like Anthony Hamilton who's got a big fight coming up, big UFC fighter. He's listening right now. Shout out to Anthony. It's pretty cool when people are already expressing that they want to come back, on the guest side, but then even on sponsorship side. So it's a good feeling, especially when I haven't even been on officially for 2 weeks yet.
No, and it's crazy because every single guest is like, even me, for example, I've never even been on air before, like, the last 2 days ago.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. But it's just so natural. Like everybody that comes in, like I even have, clip segments where people are like, it's just so, I feel so comfortable. Like everything, the environment is just so awesome. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people like being on air with you because you're just a natural at this. It's like your talent, your gift, but also you really make people feel welcomed and comfortable, and that definitely shines through your personality. So
thank you. And I try. I get that. When you walk in, because most studios don't have cameras going. So this is a studio that we've got microphones and cameras, and we've got lights. We got a whole production going on in here. So I get that people are going to be nervous. It's the first time and all that. But I try to give them. I try to keep them. As calm and as non-stressed as they can get. Because last time I checked, if people just focus on talking into the microphones and they think of them as just hey, they're just having a conversation with their friends, that is nothing to be concerned about. So especially with all our security here. I mean, it's not like you can just walk up the street and get up here to the studio. So shout out to Anthony yesterday who stopped by Joe from Nordstrom's. It was great to have him, and I always love Loretta Sophie. She was the former executive vice president for the entire women's division on the whole corporate national landscape for Nordstrom's. That we had Joe in here yesterday. We had of course Taya came in yesterday to make her big announcement. If you missed yesterday's show, I'm not even going to tell you the announcement that she made. I'm going to make you go to our show's Instagram. So go to the show's Instagram. And then Anthony was here, and we talked about his fight coming up. He wants to continue to come back in. He's got some announcements down the road that he's going to be using the show at Studio 110.live to come in here with yours truly, Dirty Harry and Erica, to make that big announcement.
Plus, we'll be doing an event, kind of an event. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome. And some of these things, honestly, I'm not even aware of. I'm so focused on the night before, looking at my flight plan. Like a good pilot does. Looking at my flight plan, you're calling me in the evening saying, okay, did you get this email? Did you get this text message? And I get what I gotta get, and I review it, and I study it, and that's my job. I got to be the best host I can be, but then I got to surround myself like great people like Erica who are doing magic, literally magic behind the scenes, working so hard. So let's talk about today's show.
All right.
Let everybody know. I know we got a TV personality, a well-known TV personality coming in, and then talk about that guest and then the following guest.
So the first guest we have, his name is Aaron Levine, and he is a
sports anchor for Q13 Fox. That you can see him on the 10 o'clock news segment Monday through Friday.
So Aaron will be coming in, and he will kind of be talking about everything within the world of obviously being an anchor man for the sports department, and then we also have after that Zach Wingfield who will be coming back on.
Shout
out to Zach. We're very excited to be promoting his ZwingRally that will be coming up on May 25th.
Awesome.
So it's very exclusive though, as far as like being able to get in and having your car featured. So he'll be talking about the guidlines of that, the requirements, kind of everything in just with that. So it's exciting. I'm really excited to know. And he hasn't even given me the exclusive content. So this is going to be pretty big because a lot of people are questioning like, how do I get in? What do I need to do? What are the requirements?
Well, he's got all those ingredients today around at 2 o'clock. I'm going to keep him on with me for about an hour because there's a lot to talk about with Zach. And did you tell me that just one of Zach's Instagrams is over 1 million followers?
Yes, one of the Instagrams that he maintains and definitely promotes on is 1.5 million followers.
Pretty big. And did you also instruct me earlier that he's got something going out on that particular account for everybody to watch him in here with us today?
Yes.
So one second. I'm sorry. So do I fully understand that if he's putting it out to 1.5 million people, there's a good chance that a good majority of those people will be tuned into the big show today?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The fact that we're promoting it on three different social medias just from Zach alone, from ZwingRally, Zwing, and then also I don't know the exact name of the.
That's okay.
But those three accounts, and then also mine, yours, and then all the people we have on our social media team as well.
That's huge.
That's really big.
And then I'm excited. So Aaron Levine, I've always watched Aaron Levine. I've known Aaron for a long time. I've done some co-hosting with him, like at Safeco Field for the Friday Night Live promotions that I used to host on the big Jumbotron screen that you see between innings for the whole entertainment side of the Seattle Mariners organization. And I've got a lot to talk to him about. I know that particular segment will be about a half hour today, but I want to speak to him specifically about what the Seahawks organization is doing in terms of some of these trades and his thoughts and feelings on how we look going into this season, because he's a professional sports TV anchor. And then I want to ask him because he's absolutely a major player locally on the bandwagon to get the NBA to deliver us another team back here since we got robbed from our last experience, which I'm still upset about. I'm looking forward to speaking to Aaron just about the overall climate of Seattle sports, from the Sounders to the Mariners, to his thoughts on Ichiro joining the Mariners organization again. So a lot to talk about on the sports side, and then we're going to move into the car business, and we'll see if we can get maybe we'll even try to get my buddy Andy Caruza to call in at the end of the show to talk about his company called FenSense, which is a really cool operation. So there's a lot of I'll just kind of give a quick gist because I've got a few minutes to talk about it. So Andy and I have been friends for years. Andy used to be a local promoter here in the nightlife scene in Belltown and Pioneer Square and Capitol Hill. And then he developed this company called FenSense. And FenSense is for all the vehicles out there. Because you know how a lot of vehicles today, Erica, like on the bumpers, they have the sensors. So when you back up, instead of bashing into a wall, it beeps. It tells you, hey, stop backing up. So he developed this really cool company and pattern and whole grid in terms of creating a FenSense backup sensor that goes around the license plate.
So it's
pretty cool because
I think a lot of cars today,
if you want, it's a big wiring job, and you got to drill into the bumper, and you got to do some bodywork patches and stuff like that. So I want to say I'm not even going to say because I don't know the exact price point, but I'm excited because Andy's not only working on that, but he's working on a couple other things. So it'll be good to get him on. Also be good to see maybe Ryan, one of the main guys here at Studio 110.
Hopefully
he'll have an opportunity to come in. He hasn't joined us yet in the studio. Aaron has.
My buddy
Aaron has here from Studio 110 side of that. But Aaron will be my co-host on the tech side of the show.
So he's got
like a lot of big relationships coming in. I'm super excited to just kind of wrap my head around his relationships that'll be coming on the air with me. That'll be great. Shout out time before I forget. We got a lot of people watching and listening. I know I might forget some of you guys, so please forgive me if I do. But I want to shout out my buddy Walter Thurman, Josh from the TV show The Deadliest Catch, DJ Scene, my boy Justin down at the Chrysler Dodge dealership down there in Puyallup. It's called Larson. Elena, the Hyde Children, man, those are my guys. Jason and Jamal listening to the big show right now. And I think they're going to be actually coming in tomorrow and letting me play one of their featured songs that is about to go in different outlets, not only here in the Washington market, but on the national market too. So I'm super excited to have the Hyde Children in the studio tomorrow. And let's go. And then I'm going to talk about a couple other surprises tomorrow. Who else? We got my buddy Shane, my buddy Marquis, Jordan Babineau from the Seahawks, my guy Paul Wall, national recording artist listening to us out of Houston, Texas. Brad Brotherton, who owns Brotherton Cadillac. Andy Case won Usher's $1 Million music contest. Usher put a platform out a number of months ago, and the winner was right here from the Northwest. Andy Case. She'll be joining us the first or second week. Like I said, Erica does so much work. She manages my calendar. I honestly don't know the exact date she's coming in, but she has agreed to allow me to play the song before it goes out to the mass. So that's one other exclusive thing that I like to do on my show is have the opportunity to play songs before anyone else gets them. That's how you build up the social. That's how you build up the traction and everything here at Studio 110. Who else do we got? We got Steve Lobel, my buddy Steve Lobel listening. Shout out to you, Steve. Steve is pretty much responsible for Bone Thugs Harmony Success, selling over 40 million albums. Jamie Adler will be rejoining the show from Los Angeles as well. He's Snoop Dogg's right hand, Bone Thugs. He does a lot of big management artist negotiations, and he's a record guy out of Los Angeles. I already mentioned Andy Caruza. Thank you for listening. My boy D. Sonoram, Vice President of 300 Entertainment out there in New York. My guys Eric and Andrew at Alpha Technologies. Marshawn Lynch's buddy hit me up saying that he'll be. They said we can't commit to giving you an exact date when we'll be on the show, but I said, you know what, no problem. I said, as long as I can get my boy Marshawn Lynch on at some point, I'll be happy, regardless if he plays for us or another team. I like Marshawn Lynch a lot. Who else do we got? Thomas Rawls and Steven, my buddy from the PR agency down in LA who deals with the Kardashians. And a bunch of other celebrities. So I'm looking forward to getting Steven on as well, just to kind of talk about everything going on in Hollywood and new movies and new TV shows. And he's got pretty much his pulse on everything on the entertainment side down there in Los Angeles. So going back to the Hyde Children, Jason and Jamal, I had my boy DJ Nasty Ness on the show last week, and Nasty Ness is responsible for some Mix-a-Lot. He's responsible for me and a couple other large names. But what's really cool is Nasty Ness hasn't taken a group under his wing since he pretty much put out some Mix-a-Lot on the music side. So the Hyde Children are a local bass group here out of Seattle who are definitely making noise and traction and developing everything into a real platform here on a national level. Believe me, you'll be hearing about them. And they'll be joining the show. They're super excited. They'll be coming in tomorrow. Maybe they'll be doing a live performance. I don't know. Maybe I'll just be playing the record. But they're cool guys. guys. They got a really cool clothing brand. They got some hoodies and T-shirts that I like to support those guys. So maybe they'll bring in some product, and we can do some giveaways. All about rewarding our listeners, giving them concert tickets and clothing, and you name it. So that's what's really cool, and that's what I'm excited about, because I like to reward. I like to give people gifts and prizes. So my first guest today coming into the studio here in a few minutes will be Aaron Levine. Like I said, we'll be talking to him about everything going on the sports side, locally. Maybe I'll knowing me, this is my style, but maybe I'll ask him. I love shout outs. So maybe he'll give us a shout out tonight on the 10 o'clock news hour on Q13 Fox. That'd be pretty cool. That would be our first TV shout out since we've launched our brand here at Studio 110 Live. And I want to shout out everyone. Speaking of shout outs, everyone here behind the scenes that works so hard at Studio 110. We got Aaron. Of course, we got Erica. Who else do we got? We got Julianne. We got Pierre. We got Cristiano. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anybody. But those are the main players here working really hard behind the scenes to make sure this flight is as smooth as we possibly can. Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 Pacific Standard Time. Like I said, Taya yesterday was in here, and she made a big announcement that you can see by following us on our Instagram at Studio 110.live. Shout out to my sister Samantha listening in New York. Her and her husband flew out here to join the show last Friday. It was great to have them on. I almost forgot my guy, Uncle Ike, Ian. My apologies. I was going to get you. I just got a lot going on today's show and this week. But Ian Eisenberg, the man behind Uncle Ike, he wants to do a big 420 party where we might be broadcasting the show from his event out there at Uncle Ike's at one of his locations. So excited about that. But I'll tell you something else that's really going to be big. That's happening tomorrow. It's actually happening tonight. But my friend who I met recently in Los Angeles, her name is Okara Banks. And Okara is a pretty large fashion stylist based in Los Angeles. She works with Jamie Foxx and some pretty large A-level talents. So when I was invited to Shaquille O'Neal's birthday party in Los Angeles for All-Star Weekend, I had the opportunity to sit next to her, and I was sitting next to Bill Bellamy and Shaquille O'Neal, and everyone there was around the table, and we just started talking fashion, and then 2 weeks ago she calls me and says, I've been watching your show. I'm fascinated by it, and I want to fly up to join you on the air. So I said, hey, I'd love that. Okara, come on up. Let's get you up here. And so she's flying up here, and she'll be joining me tomorrow and Friday on the air, along with my other guests that'll be here in the studio. We're going to be talking about every aspect of fashion. So I want to kind of open this up to our social as well. So if you're following us on Instagram at Studio110.live, or if you're an up-and-coming fashion designer, or whatever fashion you're in at any sort of level, Okara would be a good person for you to reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram. You can definitely hit us up on our work emails as well. When Erica returns, she's downstairs actually getting Aaron. But when she returns, she'll give you the platforms to be able to hit us up tomorrow. For tomorrow's show. So it'll be great to get Okara. Safe flight, Okara, if you're listening right now. Can't wait to have you in the studio, and we'll be talking about just all the celebrities that you work with and where you feel fashion is going and where it needs to go, and designers and brands that are currently on the platform, and up and coming designers. So that'll be awesome. Let's also transition now to my buddy Zach, who's going to be a guest on the latter part of the show this afternoon. And he's got his big ZwingRally coming up, and it's pretty cool, pretty exciting when your producer tells you that he's got over 1 million followers on Instagram, and he's directed them to this show, to my show this afternoon when he comes in at about 2 o'clock to watch the live video. So that's pretty cool. That's definitely cool. So we'll be talking to him about his car rally and just all the different international video platforms that he builds that are pretty iconic all over the world. So he's definitely got a talent, and it's all here from the Northwest. And that's what I love, man. There's so much talent that people don't realize that are here. That's here, right here in the Pacific Northwest. From fashion to nightlife to pop culture culture to cars to entertainment. We've got our pulse all over that. And you can see that just from a lot of the guests that we've had on, from like Erica said, Brianne Rice from The Bachelor, Marcus Trufant, who I just recently ran into at the mall after the show. He's asking me when he can come back. It's definitely a good feeling, like Eric and I talked about earlier, when people are expressing that they already want to come back right when they leave. So that definitely makes me feel good as the host, and I'm really working hard, with my team here behind the scenes to make this the top show out there, and believe me, it will be. So I'm super excited about that. Definitely, if you're following me on my Instagram, dirty_Harry_206, hit me up on my Instagram if you want to shout out. Hit me up on my Facebook. You can definitely find me there on Facebook. You can find me on the fan page. And I'd definitely like to give you a shout out. Shout out to my guy Marquis, listening down in Tacoma. Definitely is going to be doing some performances, and we'll be doing an interview with him and his artists, and Vitamin D, and DZ. So we got a lot of exciting things coming up on the big show here at Studio 110.live. Shouting out everybody that stopped by today. Shouting out all my guests that have stopped by. Like I said, I don't want to forget anybody. So if you've been a guest on the show so far, I don't want to forget you. And much respect to everybody. Aaron, my guy. I haven't seen you in a long time. Thank you very much for coming into the big program today. Why don't you take a seat right here? And I know you're a well-renowned TV guy, so I don't know how much radio live podcast that you've done, but I really appreciate you coming into the show today. Hopefully you found us okay, and it's been a good experience so far.
Oh, it's simple to get here, right?
Good, because I know you got a lot going on, and as a big TV guy, you're probably preparing all day for the show, and I can't thank you enough for joining us here at Studio 110.live today.
That's great. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. So I'm excited to have you in and just kind of get this kicked off, just about everything going on. You're the sports genius.
Hardly.
Well, you are, and you've got the top-rated sports show on Q13 out here in the Pacific Northwest. So let's just kind of get it kicked off with your opinion and thoughts on what the Seahawks organization has recently been doing with the Sherman trades and everything kind of going on. I don't know who it was, but I was looking through one of my show preps, and I guess one of the players got released yesterday for getting in trouble.
Trevon Boykin.
There you go.
Right.
What are your opinions and thoughts on what they've done up until now, and do you think it's overall good moves in your professional opinion?
I think that there's a misconception right now. The word that you're hearing a lot among the fan base in the 12s is rebuild, and that's really not the term that Pete Carroll and John Schneider see this as. They see this as a mini reset. Every single year, you're going to have some attrition. Well, this year's attrition happens to be certain guys that have been leaders on this team, and part of that core, that leadership core, that's brought them to a couple of Super Bowls a few years ago. The Richard Shermans, the Michael Bennett's, potentially even Earl Thomas if the price is right. We're going to take a look back on this and say, okay, well, if a team is willing to trade a first-round draft pick for Earl Thomas, well, that might be the price that the Seahawks would like. So ultimately, I think it is hitting a reset button to a certain extent, but it's not a rebuild. When you have core leaders on your team still involved, the Russell Wilsons, the Doug Baldwins, the Bobby Wagners, the KJ Wrights, and a lot of the young guys coming up that really haven't had a chance to kind of stake their claim to making a name on this team, like the Jaron Reeds, even Frank Clark. I mean, he's going to be the next Michael Bennett on this team. Michael Bennett once said Frank Clark could potentially go down in team history as a member of the Team Hall of Fame or the Ring of Honor. So some of these, and Shaquille Griffin we saw as a rookie last year, he's sort of the new breed of Richard Sherman coming up through the ranks as well. Giving some of these guys, Nazir Jones on the defensive line, giving some of these guys more of an opportunity to show what they can do. It's not like 2010 all over again when John Schneider and Pete Carroll first got here, and they had a completely bare cabinet, and they just had to stock that cabinet and get rid of everybody else. They have certain guys in place right now that they feel like they can continue to be competitive within the NFC West and the NFL. The question now is, can they compete with the Los Angeles Rams now that they have signed Ndamukong Suh on the defensive line? Aaron Donald's been an absolute nightmare for Russell Wilson and the Seahawks offensive line this last few years. You pair him with another dominant defensive lineman in Ndamukong Suh, and most teams, and especially the Seahawks who have to play them twice a year, are going to have one hell of a time trying to defend them.
We definitely are. So what? I mean, what are your? I mean, besides obviously what you just said, what are you excited about going into the 18-19 season with the Seahawks, and then what are you overly concerned about? Because as a fan and someone that doesn't nearly know the sports and the football business like you do, but all I really care about is are the W's and ultimately making it to the playoffs, and getting a ring. And I loved I was out there for the parade. I'm sure you were when we won the Super Bowl. Went down what was it, 4th Avenue off Danny Way there, and just everybody came out. You felt it. You felt the vibe. You felt the excitement. All those guys were standing on the flatbed trucks. They had the banners saying the different positions that they represent the squad for. So what are you excited about personally, and then what are you a little hesitant and concerned about?
So it's amazing. We have to take a step back here. That was more than 4 years ago at this point. And things happen really quickly in the NFL, and the turnover is very quick. If you take a look back at that Super Bowl championship team, there are very few guys that are still on this team, on that 53-man or 90-man roster as of right now, that were a part of that Super Bowl championship team. So, yes, we've already had that turnover. We have certain guys that are still here that were part of that team as well. So my concerns are that you don't have the Richard Shermans, you don't have the Michael Bennett, those mainstays on this team. What I'm excited about, and I'll probably be even more excited after the draft, after when you have the full puzzle all put together come training camp. You have a better idea of what this 53-man roster is ultimately going to look like. That's when I'm going to get really excited, because they have some missing parts right now. Who is going to be your starting corner opposite Shaquille Griffin right now? Who are some of the back-end guys as far as safeties go? We don't know about the health situation of Cliff Averill and Cam Chancellor. So can some of those younger guys step up? Who are they going to take in that draft? They have a first-round pick, and then they have a big gap until the 4th round, so you're missing a couple rounds in there. But ultimately, we don't know what this team's going to look like until August, until September. So anybody kind of jumping off of bridges right now saying, "Oh my God, they're not going to win more than 5 games this season," are crazy, because you have to have patience.
They are.
Well, I mean, you have to have patience. And then again, last year, everybody considered last year a disappointment because they missed the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. They still won 9 games. In fact, they should have won that last game against the Cardinals, would have won 10, and if not for Blair Walsh, you would have won another 2 or 3 games. Now you're at 12 or 13 wins for a season. So I don't think they were that far off last year. I don't think they're that far off right now. But I am concerned about some of the other teams within the division that are getting better. Look at the 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo. They didn't lose a game in the last 5-6 games of the year. After they brought Garoppolo in, the Rams got good. I'm not sure about the Cardinals so much, but we have to win the division first. If we've learned anything from winning Super Bowl championships and making Super Bowls in Seattle, the 3 times they've made the Super Bowl, they've been the number 1 seed in the NFC, and they've had home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
And probably nothing else makes you happier than being able to get on your top-rated TV sports show and being able to get behind that, because I watch you all the time on TV, and I appreciate everything that you do, and from your interviews to your just you know the business so well, and that's what's so amazing, and that's what's just fascinating to me to get you in here at Studio 110.live, Aaron, is just the true inner knowledge. So when we talk about Pete Carroll, I don't know if this. Hopefully, this is a correct fact. But is he considered the oldest NFL coach right now?
He currently is.
Okay.
And believe it or not, he's going into his 9th season here in Seattle. He was at USC for 9 years. So at the end of this year, he'll have been in Seattle just as long as he had been at USC. He won a couple of national titles, and kind of interesting. Talking about that is everybody felt like he was at SC forever. He's now been here just as long. And one thing, there was some rumors and speculation that he might want to retire at the end of last season. From my interaction with him at the NFL Combine last month in Indianapolis, he is reinvigorated. And what has re-energized him? Well, it's the guys that he has put around him. They got rid of the defensive coordinator, Chris Richard. They got rid of offensive coordinator, Darrell Bevell. They got rid of their offensive line coach and Tom Cable. And they brought new guys in. Brian Schottenheimer's your new offensive coordinator. Ken Norton Jr. is coming back from the Raiders, where he learned a lot as defensive coordinator. He's ultimately going to sort of be Pete Carroll's mouthpiece, because that defense ultimately comes down to Pete Carroll. And then you have a new offensive offensive line coach, and Mike Solari, who we're all familiar with because he was the offensive line coach under Mike Holmgren and Jim Mora. He also had history with Pete Carroll in San Francisco back in the day as assistant coaches. So these are all new guys bringing in new energy, new visions, but they're all going to be under the same Pete Carroll philosophical umbrella. I'm really excited to see where that leads the offensive line in particular. A new voice in some of those guys' ears. You have mainstays in Justin Britt at center. You have Dwayne Brown at left tackle. The question is who are going to fill those other 3 spots. You just signed DJ Fluker, who's going to be your right guard this year. But that offensive line has certainly been very maligned over the last 3 or 4 years, and you really need to get back to business because Pete Carroll's philosophy is winning the line of scrimmage and a hard-nosed running game, and that's a formula that he says is proven, has worked in the past, and they got to get back to that.
Absolutely, and you know, like you just said too. I mean, they've got to figure that out because what's a sold-out crowd there? What is it? 70,000,
67 to 70,000.
Yeah, 67 to 70,000 people, and you want happy. You know, you want the happy 12s in there. You don't want people walking away upset, especially on a Sunday. You know, everybody dreads going to work on a Monday, so you want everybody feeling good. And you know, one thing that maybe you'll agree or disagree, but and I think this is somewhat interesting is every time, and I've seen this happen. When we have the Sonics, but talking about the Seahawks now, Aaron, is every time we trade a player, like if it's Sherman or if it's Graham or if it's Frank, any of these guys. Regardless if we play them again here, or if we're on the road playing them, they do such an amazing job outshining us. Like they always show us, okay, well, you know what? I don't play for you guys anymore, but I'm going to show you how good I really am right now.
Are you talking about the Mariners organization? We've seen a whole lot of that in the M's organization last 2 years.
We've seen a lot of the Mariners, but I also feel like we see that with the Seahawks too. Like, for example, I don't know what team he's on anymore, but Robert Turbin was one of my guys who came in on my previous show and took over the show every Tuesday afternoon. And I'd be the same way too. And I'd be the same way too. I mean, if I wasn't representing the Seahawks and wearing a different team's jersey, I'd want to come in and kind of blast it off too. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Richard Sherman does because he's going to play with that chip on his shoulder. That sort of reinvigoration can apply to him as well because the Seahawks did not want to honor their contract to him. They just flat out released him, and he was due $11 million heading into this season. And now he's betting on himself playing for a division rival in San Francisco. Whoever thought Richard Sherman was going to play for the hated 49ers and he was going to be playing. And then again, Pete Carroll and John Schneider are going to have a front row seat twice a year to see Richard Sherman playing. And there's nothing that lights a fire under Richard Sherman than being daddled by anybody.
And what do you think John and Pete will be thinking when they, because it's a reality, it's going to happen. Right. So when he's on our turf or when we're on their turf, like what do you think is going to be going in their head? Like, I mean, guys, I probably shouldn't have made that decision.
Well, I think they're pretty content with their decision, and here's the reason: is because Richard Sherman is coming off of an Achilles surgery. He's approaching 30 years old, and he was going to be due $11 million. You can take that $11 million and free up salary cap space, and that's the one difference between football and baseball. Is in baseball, essentially, you can spend as much as you potentially want, or the ownership is willing to pay. I think the Yankees have more than $300 million in their salary cap, in their whole organization. The salary cap is set for this year. I believe they're around $177 million. And so the Seahawks only have a certain amount to spend, and they were really up against the cap this year specifically because of the good decisions they've made in the past. They were paying a lot of money to a lot of different players, but now it's kind of hitting them in the butt because they need to free up some cap space. And so $11 million did that with Richard Sherman. I think they took that $11 million and they spent it on 4 or 5 potential starters on the defensive side of the ball this year, including Bradley McDougald, who is a very versatile safety who played for the Seahawks last year. He played free safety and strong safety, and he's going to be a major contributor this season.
The contract, because I've heard a couple different outlets report things. Was it? And hopefully I'm correct when I say this. 3 years, up to $39 million. Was that roughly what the deal was?
Right. So for Sherman's contract, 3 years, up to $39 million, but most of that is not guaranteed. So I have to remember going back to this season, I believe only $3 million of it is guaranteed. He gets It's another $2 million if he passes a physical on the first day of training camp. That's the beginning of August.
Most people would probably, dream to have that, go to the doctor and get a
exactly. Then again, Sherman's coming off that Achilles surgery, so that's what they're banking on also, having him healthy by the start of the season. And then he has all these bonuses that can be attained if he becomes an All-Pro each year, if he plays all 16 games every year, if he is a Pro Bowler every single year. So, essentially, Richard Sherman will make $39 million over the next 3 years. If he is an All-Pro all 3 years, a Pro Bowler all 3 years, plays all 16 games plus playoffs all 3 years. He is healthy all 3 years as well. So there are a lot of ifs in that contract.
Just kind of transitioning now, moving away from Seahawks, because I know we're under a little bit of a time crunch today, but there's definitely some things that I want to get in before you leave. The Sonics. Huge Sonics fan. I love the old, Seattle city skyline that New Era was producing as a limited kind of quantity run that they don't make anymore. Your thoughts in terms of getting an NBA team back in the city where we deserve to have one. We got robbed.
Well, not only did we get robbed, but I think it's an absolute travesty that we're now sitting here 10 years later without real talk about an expansion team or bringing the Sonics back. We've been close a couple of times, specifically with the potential of the Kings moving up here about 5 years ago. That didn't pan out. I really think that the NBA is going to come around in the next 5 years. I know it's going to take some time there, but when the new collective bargaining agreement is finally done, you have this NBA contract is done also. When that is done, I think the ownership, the 32 owners are going to look around and say, okay, we need to expand. And there's going to be an option there, especially now that there is a future arena coming to the Seattle Center. Now, don't get me involved with the location of that arena. I said arena because I've been on record saying that I believe it should be in Soto instead because it's easier to get to from inside the city.
And I agree with that too, by the way.
Unfortunately, that's just not the case, and the local leadership involved has jumped on board with this new renovation of Key Arena.
Unfortunately.
But at the same time, the good news is you're going to be getting a hockey team, and that announcement should come.
And I'm not a hockey fan at all.
Have you ever been to a hockey game live?
No.
Well, you have to, because that will turn you into a hockey fan. It's not very much fun watching it on TV, my opinion, but once you get there, and I'm from Los Angeles, have gone to a Kings game. If you're up in Vancouver, go to a Canucks game before 2020, before Seattle gets its team, and then when you take a look at how many people signed up for season tickets at the new Seattle Center.
I heard it was huge.
Yeah, I mean, they sold. They met their goal in about 12 minutes or so, and they sold out all of their tickets essentially within 24 hours or 36 hours. So there is definitely a sleeping giant waiting for professional hockey and the NHL to come to Seattle. But that in and of itself, that ticket drive showed a lot of the NBA owners, and in particular NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who's watching very closely, that Seattle is a viable market. And I don't think we here need to prove anything. We've shown that it can be a viable NBA market for 41 years before that team was ripped away from us to Oklahoma City. But this, again, is one more proving ground, showing that there is enough corporate money up here. There is enough money in general to sustain not only the NHL, but the NBA. And I think a lot of eyes are on us right now. And over the course of the next 5 years, we are definitely going to see something good in the course. Well,
Aaron, if you're saying it and you're predicting it, my bets are on you. And with that being said, I really like Chris Hansen. I've had the opportunity to meet Chris Hansen before. He's a great guy. And what's so frustrating to me is Chris Hansen has the ingredients. He has the ingredients to build the new arena. And I'm saying this. I know, you, like you said earlier, you've been on record saying things. So I'll take you off the platform here. I prefer that the new arena be down in the Soto area where it should be. Chris Hansen has drafted up plans. He's put together proposals outlining how everything is going to formulate and shape up properly. And even for the traffic flow, and I know you know this, like the traffic flow was an issue for the city of Seattle in terms of not having gridlocks and backups down on the avenues down in the Soto area. He even took it upon himself to build an overpass to not disrupt the traffic flow. So I mean, I get it's the Seattle City Council. I get it's them, and I understand that it's politics. I understand that it's politics and that we have to deal with that. But I feel like Chris Hansen really. I just wish the tables were turned a little bit, and that more people would listen to Chris Hansen when he talks, because he knows what he's doing, and he knows what he's doing, and he could get it done.
Well, it was a bum rap, and I don't think the two plans were looked at on an equal basis. Soto was unfortunately never given that opportunity. Right now, they're still petitioning for a vacation of Occidental, and hopefully that will be passed and recommended by SDOT along the way, and it will go in front of the Seattle City Council. That will give Seattle just one more option. Yes, you're moving forward with a brand new renovated Key Arena, and that's going to host an NHL team, and that's going to host major concerts, and it could potentially host an NBA team one day as well. But from a Seattle sports fan's perspective, you want as many options as possible. And if the NBA were to fall through at Seattle Center, you want to have the option of saying, okay, well, we have a conditional vacation agreement where if the owners of a potential NBA team, a Hanson-based team, could wrangle an NBA team to Seattle, that their arena would be built also. And again, the more options you have, the better you are as an NBA fan in wanting the Sonics to come back to town.
And I don't know how credible this is, but I heard a couple rumors, and correct me if I'm right here or incorrect, but something about the Memphis Grizzlies as a potential for the Grizzlies turning into to the Sonics' new organization if that was to come about. So, like I said, I don't care which team it is. I used to love to go to Seahawks games. Sonics games. Sorry, Sonics games. I used to love to go to Sonics games. I like going to Seahawks games too. And it was just fun to go down to Key Arena and just watch the city come out and watch the Kobe Bryants and the Shaquille O'Neals. Michael Jordan was through there several times. So not too many people like the younger generation can't say that they saw these stars come into the Seattle market.
Well, listen, this is the 12th largest media market in the country, and it is an absolute travesty that we don't have an NBA team, because ultimately this is a world-class sports city. You have the Seahawks, you have the Sounders FC that put in 40,000 fans every single game at CenturyLink Field. You have the Storm, you have the Reign FC, you have the Mariners, and you're going to have an NHL team also. So why not throw one more log on that fire and bring back the Sonics? This is one more way that Seattle can put their foot down and say, don't forget about us over here in the Pacific Northwest. We have a world-class sports city.
What is your favorite thing, my friend, of being a primetime, very well-known, respected TV sports anchor in Seattle? What's your favorite thing about the job?
I think there's an adrenaline rush that comes from being down on the field at CenturyLink Field following the Seahawks win when we do our Seahawks game day shows. It's really cool when we're right off. They come right off the air and they're right to us and say, "Hello, Seattle," and the Seahawks came back from 20 points down because Russell Wilson led them back in the fourth quarter for a win. Those are the best days. There's no doubt about it. The feeling that I had in the NFC Championship game when they came back, miracle against the Green Bay Packers to win the NFC Championship game and clinch their ticket to Super Bowl 49 was one of the best feelings I've ever had.
Me too.
Total dumbfounded, speechless, however you want to call it, but just going on the air right after that was one of my favorite days by far. And then, of course, the parade, you mentioned that in 2014, February 2014, the Streets Line. And the same thing with the Sounders when they won a championship a couple years ago also when they had that parade. It was bigger than anybody ever expected it to be. When we talk about the sports fans in this city, they're awesome. They really are. It's one of the reasons I love being here.
It's definitely like you said, it's an iconic market that definitely needs to we definitely need to do whatever it takes to get the NBA to deliver us a team since we've been robbed. Like Aaron says, it's just what was the word you just you've used a couple times today? I can't remember the exact word you just used. How you described how we got robbed.
A travesty.
Travesty. Because that's so true. My producer's telling me we have to take a very quick production break here. The team outside has to change something here on one of our feeds. So we will do that, and we'll be right back here with my buddy Aaron Levine, and then big shout out to my buddy Zach in the studio here from Z-Wing. If you're following Zach right now on his mega Tron social networking platform, you definitely need to be watching very closely because we got a lot to be talking about today. We got to be swiping up for my boy Zach and Z-Wing. So Zach will be getting to you here after we wrap up here with my buddy Aaron. We'll be back right here shortly at Studio 110.live.